just when you thought LeBron's signing to Los Angeles on Sunday, to be discussed Monday, was going to be the number one story in free agency. And obviously, when you're talking about a GOAT, he is the number one story anytime. But you never thought there'd be something to rival this. And yesterday, within a span of an hour, the poor New Orleans Pelicans took a couple of hits. And one of them, one of them's a shocker, and one of them's not surprising. The one that's not surprising is Boogie Cousins going elsewhere. Because, look, the Pelicans were not going to max this guy out coming off of an Achilles injury. That's just would have been a shocker to me, to max him out $200+ million to a guy coming off of an injury that one never knows. So that didn't surprise me. What surprised me also, the shocker to me, all right, the shocker to me was Rajon Rondo going to the Lakers. Going to the Lakers and creating a competition at point guard for the Lakers. And Lonzo Ball plays point guard for the Lakers. He's the guy who's got the ball in his hands. And you could sit here and say, okay, then he'll just play off the ball. But his shooting is perhaps his least attractive attribute. Now, sure, he can improve, but, it's just year 2 for him in the NBA coming up. But there's a competition the day after LeBron arrives, and you know LeBron's being consulted on everything. He's not just flying off to Europe and saying, okay, Magic and Pelinka, you just run the shop. And I'm sure they didn't just wake up yesterday and say, we got to get Rajon Rondo today. I'm sure when Magic was sitting in LeBron's house on Saturday night after knocking on the door at 9 Pacific, that this was on the table. This is part of our plan. What does this mean for Lonzo here in Los Angeles? Holy crap. And then it's 1 year, $9 million. Here's the other surprising part. Boogie Cousins was signed for half that by the Golden State Warriors. Now, the one thing about the Warriors during their championship run that everybody else in the NBA could count on in trying to beat the Warriors, the one thing you could count on was that amidst the Splash Brothers and Draymond Green and then eventually Kevin Durant coming to create this monster super team, the one thing you could count on was the center position was just kind of the Washington Senators of the team. I mean, Washington Generals of the team. One thing you could count on is that the guy in the middle wasn't anywhere near close to the rest of the best players on the team. With all due respect to Andrew Bogut, he would occasionally come up with that, hey, how are you going to beat the Warriors when he scores 12 points on 6 of 7 shooting, adding 10 rebounds? How are you going to stop Andrew Bogut? We never said that.
Not once.
JaVale McGee would have some Shaqtin' a Fool stuff, right? I mean,
sure would.
He was one of the stars of Shaqtin' a Fool to the point where, JaVale's mom stepped in on the forefront?
Yeah, I pretty much had to beg that
stop.
Leave JaVale alone.
So the one thing you could count on with the Warriors was at the center position. That was the Achilles heel. Or not the Achilles heel, because that means you could attack it and beat them. No, it was the one thing you could count on, that there wouldn't be a ton of production from there. Not anymore. Now, again, the reason why the Pelicans didn't max out on Boogie Cousins is the same reason why, according to our first guest yesterday, Mark Spears of ESPN, he reported that Boogie Cousins got 0 contract offers. And he's the one who picked up the phone to call the general manager of the Warriors, Bob Myers, to say, how about me? 1 year, $5.3 million. That's it. And it appears we won't see him in the preseason or November or December, potentially. Warriors could wait on him till apparently January. Let him get his sea legs under him, because we all know it doesn't matter till April anyway. And it doesn't matter if the Warriors watch a team like the Rockets win 65 games and get the 1 seed anyway. And so, to all those out there who say this is unfair, the commissioner needs to do something, that despite all of these pieces having been moved around, here we go again. The NBA season is over, and it's just July 2nd when that happened. It's now July 3rd, obviously. The one thing I've got two things to say. One thing is, you do never know. Chris Paul and the Rockets had the Warriors dead to rights. Paul had a hamstring injury, and we all know what happened after that. So sure. And Klay Thompson, once upon a time, had to come up with a Game 6 of the lifetime to beat the Durant Oklahoma City Thunder. I understand that anything can happen in the playoffs. So that's one. And two, the Golden State Warriors should not be punished. The Golden State Warriors should not be looked at with derision for competing and getting better just because they're already the best. Once upon a time, I saw a Pat Riley-looking dude grab a microphone and say, greed, for the lack of a better word, is good. In sports, you bet it is. What should the Warriors do with watching the Lakers get LeBron? What should the Warriors do watching the Celtics load up? What should the Warriors do as they know what the Rockets did to them through the first 5 games of the series last year in the Western Conference Finals, and knowing that everybody's got them targeted? Bob Myers should say, you know what, Boogie, I understand you're out there and you haven't gotten a single contract offer, and that when healthy, you're one of the best in the game. And I know that there's a $5.3 million deal I could strike right now for you and basically checkmate about 9/10 of the league and place into check the other 1/10 with an opportunity to checkmate them when everything's on the line next May and June. I don't want to do it. It's just unfair. It's not fair to everybody else. You know what? I just looked at the rule book, and it is within the rules. It just would cost us an extra $15+ million on top luxury tax. But, you know, just because my owners say go ahead and spend it, I don't want to do it because it's really just not fair. Not on this planet Earth. Look at your team and say, how come you didn't think about calling Boogie Cousins and offering him? And apparently Bob Myers didn't even think that either. He had to basically alert the Warriors to say, I'm willing to do it. Why didn't he call your team? You know why? Because your team's not the Warriors. So the NBA might have a problem in the fact that we're sitting here July 3rd thinking that this thing's over already. But we'll watch. I'll watch LeBron versus the Warriors the first time they meet. I will watch Boogie Cousins suiting up for the first time as a Warrior just to see what that looks like. What's that going to look like?
Is he going to come off the bench? Is he going to start? You know, he was shooting threes. He's extended his game over the last couple seasons.
Well, he says he's the third Splash Brother. There was a video that when was that video taken?
I think that was from the last Olympic run.
With him saying, I'm the third Splash Brother trying to make threes standing next to Steph Curry, and he missed a couple and they had fun. And then Steph Curry tweets out yesterday, the third Splash Brother with all sorts of emojis,
the
laughing and crying.
Emoji.
Let's go at Boogie Cousins.
Pretty funny.
So the Warriors see your LeBron signing, Lakers. The Warriors see your maneuvers, rest of the NBA. Or they checked on the first night of free agency. And they check-raised the rest of the league.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.